Well guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about a game from 2010, and a game that I put a lot of hours into, Aliens vs. Predator. Now, this was an entire game series, however I'm not going to talk about the entire game series just because I haven't interacted with any of them besides this one. So this game, obviously, had a campaign, except it had 3 campaigns, one for each race, that being of the human, alien, and the predator. Now in this video I'm mainly going to be talking about the human one, but I'll make some side notes and show off a little bit of the other ones. Mainly due to the fact of that really the human one I think is the best one. So I think we should actually start with graphics, because this game actually still looks pretty good. Well, it wasn't running the best on frames, the game actually still looks great, and specifically the lighting. The lighting was one of the most big things they want to focus on, was because, well, the Xenomorph actually uses it. The Xenomorph can actually hide in the darkness, has the ability to destroy light sources. But the Marine has access to a flare. And this flare, based on how it is thrown, it actually reflects shadows in all directions, which is really cool. The game has a multitude of environments, all starting from the closed condensed hallways of the ones that look like aliens, all the way to giant forests and ruins of the predators. For the most part, you'll be gaining a nice sense of taste of every environment, whether that be open or condensed. There is one thing that I want to note with the environment before we go through with this. One of the points of the Aliens vs. Predator series was to make it so all 3 campaigns interacted with each other level-wise. What this kind of means is, basically, with every character, or the human, the predator, or the alien, you'll all be visiting the same areas, and it'll have a remix of enemies, and giving you new ways to look at the level, which is actually really neat. This made it so the older games in the series actually had less space that they required. Really proficient idea. Let's start off with the human. In this game you play as a Marine named Rookie. Now, Rookie does not speak at all in the game. I mean, he does make screams and loud noises when he gets hurt, but he doesn't make any dialogue whatsoever. To be honest, I think this is beneficial for the game. Mainly allows the player to input themselves in there, which sounds cringy, but a lot of games like to focus on that, and this game did it well. Now, before we go further, there is something to note. Every species has their own beneficial part. For example, the Xenomorph has the ability to climb walls, to where the Predator has the ability to jump high and even lure enemies and use technology. What does the Marine have? The good old Second Amendment, guns! The sound in this game is amazing. The sound design was definitely one of their biggest focused parts, and I still think today sounds great. If you guys didn't watch the original Alien or Alien series, the way that they do certain scenes or orchestra is amazing, creating this great tension, and they do it throughout the entire game. 2 great examples are actually back to back, which is in the very first level, where you run into a disco club and have to kill some Xenos. And the part where you must fend off the base from Xenos, but that will slowly fall down. The music is not just the best part of the sound design. The screams and the gunfire is a very emphasized part. In fact, when you're running away after holding off the zone to get in an elevator, you can actually hear your teammate die over the con. This is a very messed up detail because you know how many Xenos went on that one. Now, the arsenal of weapons for the Marine are massive. There's a crazy amount. All from a tiny little handgun to the Vasquez favorite, the smart machine gun, which feels awesome to use. However, there is one weapon that I refuse to use. It's the flamethrower, because here's the deal. You thought a Xeno gain up close to you is bad? A Xeno that's on fire and getting ready to explode in acid is so much worse.
No, 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 no.
Now, in the Marine campaign, for the most part, you'll be fighting Xenos, but there will be times where you're fighting robots, or you'll even be fighting the Predator. To me, I feel that the Marine campaign is the most fun and probably the best campaign to start off with. Oh yeah, one thing you do have access to do is the ability to block and parry. Now, I will say, it is kind of dumb that the game tells you these, like, prompts when they pop up, but playing on higher difficulties, it'll actually remove that. And you can slap a Xeno down on the ground and just shred him. Now, the Marine campaign is the longest campaign, but as I said already, I feel is the most enjoyable, and is a great mixture of horror and action. Oh yeah, that's one more thing that I wanted to say was, if the way that human faces are done in this game are really bizarre. It almost looks like everybody's about to cry. It's just really odd. The Predator campaign is a mixture of the Xenomorph and the Marine campaign, with it being action and stealth. Now, as the Predator, you have the ability to, again, jump high, or you can use certain gadgets. This ranges from the plasma caster, landmines, to a smart disc, and even the staff. The Predator can even cloak, and actually can do some really messed up stuff by using sounds of teammates or humans to lure humans into certain areas, so that way you can get the beautiful takedowns. Oh my god, I forgot about that. So this game has some of the most brutal takedowns. For the Predator, you can pull their spine through their torso out the stomach. That's pretty wild. Or you can just do some brutal Xenomorph executions where you break their back. Or the Xenomorph, you can actually do some interesting executions, whether it be your classic head bite, stabbing your tail through and pulling him through, or becoming a fort-bending barber. That one's a good one. Unfortunately, there's not much else to add for the Predator. The Predator's a fun campaign and integrates stealth beautifully. Now, the Alien campaign is the one that I always loved as a kid, but I think will be the one that people struggle with the most. Number one, as a Xeno, you don't get upgrades along the way as the other two do. The Xeno has to rely on innate skills, which being your claws, tail, and the ability to use stealth and vents. So as I said already earlier, the Xeno can actually destroy light sources, and this is cool. You see that little thing, little like crosshair in the middle? When that crosshair turns black, it means you're in the darkness, and people really won't be able to see you. The Xenomorph has the ability to hiss. Now, hissing's that thing that in horror movies where the one dude's like, "Hey, I just heard a scream from that room. I'm gonna go check it out." This allows you to lure in enemies and get some pretty easy kills. However, as a Xeno, you will be dying a lot if you try to go in combat heavy first. The Xeno does have this cool ability to actually harvest civilians. Basically, you hold him down and a face maybe says hello. Before we end it off, I want to say one thing about this game that really makes me remember this game. Unfortunately, I won't have footage for it because it was just so long ago, and sadly, the servers really aren't active anymore. There's this great game mode in the multiplayer called Infestation. It was like Infection, except 2 players would start out as Xenos, and the rest would be Marines. For every Marine that fell, a Xeno would take its place. This was an awesome game mode, making that one corner of the map and seeing Xenos climb on the walls. Oh yeah, none of the classes are changed in the multiplayer too. All the classes remain the same, and all 3 classes can be present in one match. But in this Infestation game mode, there's a map called Pyramid, which has these moving walls and moving doorways. Some doors will close and open based on certain timings. I remember with my buddy Caden that we were running through the halls and we got disconnected from each other through a door. And hearing his Marine scream as I see my motion tracker, it definitely left with me, and it's stuck with me since then. Before I end this video, I do want to say, the recent Alien games that we had, and with the new coming Aliens Descent, I do think that if we were really going to return to art form, this is the perfect time to return to this, either as a remaster or entire new game of Aliens vs. Predator. I think we're really missing out. What did you guys think of this game? And what was your favorite species to play as? For me, I gotta say the Xenomorph always stuck with me as the coolest.